Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Lever Guns 5110. Today we're going to be talking about Vernier peep sights. So let's take a look at this one. So if you look at it right here, you can set the windage right here. Let's get real close so you can see. And this screw right here tightens that up. Alright, this screw right here tightens this dovetail right here, which holds this right here on the windage that you can set with this screw right here. You also have another one right here that you can adjust, and it's adjusted by this screw fitting right here. It seems to be a little bit loose, but it's not. This one right here. But you can't move any of them. This right here adjusts for height for your different ranges. You can see you got your marks right here. And you can't move any of it until you turn this right here. You got to loosen this up, then you can run it up and down and back and forth. So, and this right here, of course, folds forward, just like that. You can let it down when you're not using it. And then when you're using it, obviously you bring it up like this, and you can tighten up this screw right here. Now, why would you use a peep sight? Let's see if we can get the camera to look through this hole. So let's take a real close look at this sight. How it mounts on here. This screw here is to tighten up and adjust where this right here sits because of the angle of the rifle. This, if you loosen this, you can adjust it up and down to put this at a different angle for the different tangs. You know, some tangs going to be steeper and less steep, different kind of guns. It's made for a sharps. It's not really made for an 1886, but it works fine on it. I want to talk about these Vernier peep sights and why in the world did they ever put them on guns and how do they work. So I think most of us are familiar with the traditional sights. Front sight here, rear sight here. Well, when you're aiming with this traditional style sight, your sight radius is between here and here, which means it will allow a little bit more wobble than, say, for instance, if your sight was here. And let's just look at this sight radius, see how long it is. Okay. It looks like you have a sight radius of about 17 inches. Well, a 17-inch sight radius at 100 yards allows a certain amount of wobble. Well, at 200 yards, it allows even more. At 300, more and more. You get the point. So, if you took your regular 24-inch barrel, and then you added a peep sight to right here, it gives you 29 inches. Almost 30 inches. Well, that longer sight radius allows for less wobble and gives you a more inline, better chance of hitting your target. So, for instance, on this 1886, its sight radius is going to be 34 inches. So 34 inches is going to even be better. And that's why the old Buffalo guns had a 20, not a 20, but a 30 to 34 inch barrel. They were trying to get that sight radius as far out as possible, which was less wobble at your greater distances. You know, a lot of the buffalo hunters shot their buffalo at 300-400 yards. Their whole point was is if you shot the lead buffalo and she fell dead in her tracks or just walked around and died right there, didn't go anywhere, the whole herd would stand there and let you shoot them until you got them all. And so most of the time they had to sneak up and get within 300 or 400 yards and figure out which one was the lead buffalo, which was always the cow, and shoot her. And they usually tried a heart shot, so she would just wander around real slow and fall over dead. And the whole herd would stay there until you shot them to death. So that was the whole point in long range shooting, because you didn't want the herd to ever start running, because you'd never be able to kill them. Not saying that was a good thing. I'm just talking about these sights here. All right. The main advantage with this type of sight is you don't have to line up the back sight with the front sight. Your eye automatically lines up the back sight. So when you put it up here to your eye, you're already lined up. All you got to do is get it on target and pull the trigger. That's the main advantage. The next main advantage is when you put this up here, it makes the front sight clear, even if you have poor eyesight. It will sharpen the front sight and your target compared to just like if you just have regular sights, this back side or the front side or the target, something's got to be blurry, but not with this. I mean, I can see my target clearly and see my front sight clearly. I mean, I wouldn't say perfectly clear, but way clearer than you can with sights. So that's the main advantage, is when you throw it up here on your shoulder, get it on the front sight on target, the back sight's already lined up, and then all you gotta do is pull the trigger. I have taken over 150 deer with this sight configuration, not with this particular one, you know, but all my lever actions pretty much have Vernier, either Tang mounted, or I'll have receiver mounted. I have some kind of peep sight on almost all my lever actions. I really like peep sights. They're the best sighting system for hunting. Maybe not so much early in the morning, late in the evening, but my goodness, I like to get down before it gets dark, because I don't like field dressing deer in the dark. And I've shot some pretty big deer. But anyhow, that's how it works, and it has worked really good for well over 100 years, probably close to 200 years. That's the advantage of this. Longer sight radius, more precisely aimed, aim small, miss small type thing. And anyhow, I just want to thank you for watching. Y'all have a good day, you hear?